team, they really put you through it, all the way through it. Do they ever make it easy? No. Are they capable of making it easy? Incapable. But did they win though? They did win. Aren't you glad I wasn't easy? You know, a sick part of me, that's all of you. That's true. You know, a sick part of me doesn't want them to make it easy. No. And could you quit them even if you wanted to? Buddy, could you? Incapable. Now let's get started with season 17 of LFR. Let's go! Good. We all feel good. Stop! Never gets rusty. What am I doing? Into my kitchen. Producer Drew, can you fix all this? And when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs, you can crumple, yeet. Saw that going differently. With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Let's go, buddy! Victory, puppy Ziggy! Let's go. Here. One for every Matthews goal. If we get all three, they're winning the cup. I'm telling you right now. One. There's one. We got one. Two. We got two. That wasn't even a good throw. Sit. You gotta get in position. Well, they won the game. Smashed my head off the floor there, mid-season 4. Before we really get down to it, I want to take a minute to talk about ODR Hockey Heroes. This isn't a big game from a big company. This is one guy, Chris, who listens to the Steve Dangle podcast, who is making a hockey game. And I would like you to, and I'm going to join you in supporting ODR Hockey Heroes on Kickstarter. It's an arcade-style hockey game inspired by Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey back in the day. Like NHL Hits, NHL 3-on-3 Arcade, those ones. Super easy controls for all skill levels. And, this is wild, myself, Adam, and Jesse from the podcast were all playable characters in the game. Yeah, there's power-ups that turn players into pigeons, brick walls, even pylons. And the game even features a unique story mode that takes you on like a Space Jam-like adventure to save the world with hockey. Go to odrhockeyheroes.ca to go to the Kickstarter page and get some more info. They're over 80% there. In fact, last I checked on Twitter, it was 88% there. William Nylander. Let's get that number to 100. Let's get it over 100, why don't we? ODR Hockey Heroes. Now let's get to the rest of the video. Well, folks, here we are. Where it all started. Not in the literal room where it all started. That was a couple moves ago. This began in October 2007 across the hall from my parents. I could have just said in my childhood bedroom. That was weird. That was a weird way of phrasing it. That was terrible. I'd like a redo. No, we're leaving it in as a punishment to me. And this is now the 17th season of LFR. LFR's been around for 17 years? Well, no, it's been around for 16, but this is year 17 because, you know, it was never season 0. And I know you're a hardcore hockey fan sicko and you're already asking yourself the question. Let me answer it. LFR won't be draft eligible until next year, 2025. That's ridiculous. If you're new here, hello, I'm Steve Dangle, and this is LFR Leafs Fan Reaction. That's what it means. People always ask me, I've been around too long, how do you not know what it means? I make a video after every single Leafs game. Rain or shine, and believe me, I've spent a lot of the last 17 years wet. Also, the phrasing, it's early season, we'll work on it. But I never get tired of making these videos. I never get tired of you, and I never get tired of this. Leafs win 6-5 in the shootout over the Montreal Canadiens. This is one of those wins that you file under, they don't ask how, they ask how many. Which is wrong, by the way. Whoever told you that lied. I want to know who said that because there is an entire multi-billion-dollar industry dedicated to asking how. Coaches can say whatever they like, but they don't take a game like this and go, The Leafs have a staff of like 40 assistant coaches on the bench, guys in the back with TVs, guys in the boxes. On staff, they have a doctor, a gold medalist, and a former captain, and all of those people are Haley Wickenheiser. Believe me, they ask how. So what happened? What happened is we got lucky. We didn't watch one game, we watched 4. The Leafs were bad. The Leafs were good. The Leafs were bad again. The Leafs were good again. They won in the shootout. I guess that's 5, but the shootout's not a game. It was 4.5 games. Let's see if I'm capable of making this not 20 minutes. I mean, the first part of the game where the Leafs were bad the first time is pretty easy to get through. I didn't hate the physical part of it. Jake McCabe laid an amazing hit, and Ryan Reeves laid a not so amazing hit. I think Gooley kind of turned at the last minute. But if I'm a Habs fan, I love the gumption of Arbor Jackeye with no hesitation, just grabbing onto Ryan Reeves and fighting him. You know how many guys in the league would do that? It's less than a dozen. Honestly, it might be less than half a dozen. If you go and look at a lot of the signings made this summer, a lot of them are in this division. Two big boys who can fight. I don't think I've ever seen two fighters fall into the net and knock it over. But unfortunately, when it comes to the scoreboard, the Habs are the ones who get on the board first. TJ Brody with the puck at the blue line. He falls over. Sometimes you fall over. You don't like to fall over. That's the whole thing about falling over. You never mean to do it unless you're a goalie. And that's why they're weird. Jake Evans, breakaway, beats Ilya Samsonov. He has Montreal's first goal of the season, and it's 1-0 Habs. We could fast forward to the beginning of the second period, and while no one is happy about being down 1-0, the Leafs definitely made progress there at the end of the first. Until a $1.10 into the second. I said a $1.10. You gonna get demonetized? I said a buck. A buck. Fight me, Google! John Klingberg got a lot of attention this offseason as someone who Leaf fans might hate, and I tell you what, he was the only guy back on this 2-on-1. The Habs crashed the net with some big bodies, which we haven't been able to say in recent years. Slafkovsky to Newhook to the back of the net. It's 2-0 Montreal. Which brings us to the final play of the first game within this game of the Leafs being bad. Habs have the power play. Habs score. Cole Caulfield. 3-0 for Montreal on home ice, Leafs. Listen, you're not always going to win your first game. You're not always going to look great. You can't get run out of the place by Montreal. But then Dean Chenoweth on the Leafs bench, assistant coach, goes straight to Sheldon Keefe. He's got the wrist thing. The Leafs, again, they got like 1,000 people on the bench. The number's going to keep going up every time I bring it up. They challenged it right away, and the first replay they showed on TV made me swear really loud because at first I thought the Leafs were down 3-0, and then I thought the Leafs were down 3-0, and they were going on the penalty kill again! But then it turns out the Habs really were offside by a matter of centimeters. This screenshot right here is what turned the game on its head. Listen, Olive Branch Montreal Canadiens fans, that play is straight up not why we have offside reviews. We have offside reviews in case Matt Duchene goes 10 feet offside and it goes uncalled. But since we opened Pandora's box, this is the technology we have. It's the right call, so the goal comes back. It's only 2-0 Montreal. But here's the great thing. That's when game 2 begins, where the Leafs kick booty. John Klingberg, the new guy, gives it to Noah Gregor. The new guy flies up, snipes it past Jake Allen and David Savard. Holy cow, Noah. Who had money on him having the first Leafs goal of the season? 2-1. A game that was 3-0 Montreal just moments ago. It's now 2-1. The Leafs are within 1. And the Leafs finally debut a new goal song! We've been asking for this! We've been begging for this! People have been losing their minds for this, and then it finally happened! And people were miserable. I don't know, I liked it! It was the pursuit of happiness, which is what we're all after, by the way. Leaf fans, humans, and just like the Leafs, sometimes we're better at the pursuit of happiness than others. So we need to celebrate the moments where we pursue it and finally catch it. Listen, I saw a lot of people loved the song, a lot of people didn't love the song. I'll tell you what, I lean on the side of I love the song. And the people who don't like it, I understand where you're coming from. I think you're misguided. It's not that you want a better song. I mean, everyone would love to have a hit like Chelsea Dagger. Like, that's a great one, and you can sing along to it. But you don't want the goal song for the melody. You want the goal song for the feeling it gives you. And I wonder how we would have received the song if the Leafs weren't losing. I wonder how we would have received the song if the building was louder. Holy cow, let some of us in the building! I think some of that was how the place was mic'd up. It's different when they're doing the opening ceremonies. Vegas sounded quiet the other day. Vegas. They were doing a banner ceremony and it sounded quiet. It's the way it was mic'd up. It wasn't actually quiet. Scotiabank Arena was actually quiet. All I'm saying is the song is not going to make the pop that a goal gives you louder. Enough of that, let's keep going because we're in game 2 where the Leafs actually play well. Leafs on the power play, we like that. Mitch Marner with the puck, we like that. Throws it in front, Tavares is there, we like that. Rebound, it depends. On to the stick of Auston Matthews, snipe! Matthews with his first of the season and first of the game teaser. Do any of you watching this not know what happens? What an incredible experience. Matthews gets his 300th career NHL goal out of the way quick. First game this season. And wild stat, that was Marner's 100th assist on a Matthews goal, which means I'm not a mathematician, but he's assisted on a third of Matthews' goals. And I can't decide if that's a wild amount of assists or if it feels like that number's low. Because I think we forget Matthews has been around for longer than we think, and for several years, there was just a really interesting person behind the bench who refused to play the two of them together. And that guy is welcome to look through the pictures on my phone, where he will find a video of me just going, lol, get fired. Sorry, resigned. But you can put a hat on a dog and call it Santa. I know it's not Santa. Leafs go to work again. John Klingberg with the puck again. Can you tell that I really liked his game? He sends it over to Willie. Wham! William! Contract year Nylander was flying around. I loved him before this goal. And ironically, he scores while standing still. He was tap dancing out there like a guy who's in a contract year. He looked incredible. And I think he's probably going to benefit more from John Klingberg than any other player on this team. Like, we know Auston has a one-timer, obviously, but he's on the right side of the ice. We know Mitch can do it. He developed that. Willie's got a weapon. And I think just that split second that's provided by having a right-handed shot at the point to pass to the other right-handed shot on the left, ooh, Willie's gonna feast. And then Mitch and John and Auston and all of them can get in on the rebounds. I think this could be a recipe for a very fun power play. And then we head to the third period and the third act of the game. Leafs bad again. Now listen, Habs fans, I'm not gonna complain too much because there were a few iffy calls going both ways. Tyler Bertuzzi getting called for a slash here sucks. The Leafs had a good flurry. They almost scored. They didn't. Jake Allen stopped them, and Bertuzzi goes to get the puck from underneath him. Now listen, if we're going to protect goalies, I actually think that's great, especially in that situation. I mean, I get why you can't do that. It's just, I've been watching hockey my whole life, and they allow that all the time! If they're going to call that from now on, I don't actually have a problem with that if that's how they're going to call it from now on. But we all know that's not how they're going to call it from now on. There were non-calls in this game, a high stick on Calle Yarncroke, a pretty nasty interference on Mitch Marner right in front. He does not have the puck and just gets trucked. Plays that actually affected possession of the puck and scoring chances that didn't get called, but this thing after the whistle did. And I would just say boo and also fart. But it was worth it for two reasons. One, the Leafs ended up winning the game anyway, so who cares? And two, it gave birth to Mark Giordano frog splashing a guy. I love him! That was until Cole Caulfield scored on the power play. TJ Brody, whose bad night turned worse, deflects the puck, it goes up and over. Ilya Samsonov has no idea where this thing is. Standing there like Ron Burgundy in the Panda Pit. I immediately regret this decision. The game is tied once again. Boo. Shortly after, Max Domi, who didn't have the greatest game either, gives it away. Boo. Now listen, I'm not involved in the Leaf strategy meetings. I don't know what the new and old assistant coaches are planning with Sheldon Keefe, but I'm positive that it's not this! What are you doing? This isn't Timbits! They're all chasing after the same thing and none of them got it! Klingberg is at the point for some reason. Tavares is engaged in a net front battle, and Jake McCabe, who's probably the toughest defenseman they have back there, was on his knees! Honestly, of all the goals that went in against the Leafs tonight, this one concerned me the most. Newhook with the second of the game, the Habs retake the lead. And then a few minutes later, we're in the third period, precious minutes are pouring away into the ocean, and Timothy Liljegren whiffs on it. Now, to be fair, Morgan Riley whiffed on the thing first, but Timothy Liljegren whiffed on it worst. Jesse Ullinen takes it, and Uffe Maronen, Sammy! Can we get him? He's got a water bottle. Get him a second water bottle. That was bad. Ullinen makes it 5-3, and I'm now sad and mad again. Great news. Act 4. The Leafs are good again. With about 4.5 minutes to go in the game, the Leafs do one of my favorite things. That thing where the coach goes for a strange goalie pull, and he's either going to look really smart or really stupid. Well, I got great news. It was the first one. Leafs banging away, methodically doing their thing. Auston Matthews just tucks it in. His second of the game. He ties Alex Newhook for the lead in scoring. The Leafs are still down 1, and we don't like that. We don't want them to be down 1. We want them to be down none. And that is when the 1,050 people on the Leafs coaching staff came up with a brilliant idea. They said, how about we put Auston Matthews out there again? That's why we pay him the big bucks. It was Willie who got Matthews the puck, but it was some good work from Morgan Riley, battling down low like he was a forward. I love when he uses that big body down low. Matthews gets it. I don't know if he whiffed on it or did this on purpose, but holy cow, did he dangle the jock off of that guy in the net! Hattie for Maddie, and it's tied 5-5 because it's the first game of the season, pond hockey sloppy nonsense. I think this is big. This is huge for Auston Matthews. Like, not just to get going, not just because a hat trick is generally a good thing, but because of how last season went. It's so weird how he scored 60 goals, and then the next season he very obviously took a step in a lot of other categories, but his goal scoring, even though it was still over 40 goals, took a step back, and everyone's like, oh, he's like bad now, or like he's never going to be the same. He's not worth the money. Where have you been since 2016? It feels like we do this when Matthews isn't scoring like a goal a game. Every so often he goes on like, I don't know, can you even call it a slump? And we're like, he forgot how to hockey. No, he didn't. So now we go to overtime, and it was a very good overtime. Matthew Nyes almost scored in that overtime, but he didn't score in that overtime. And then he took a penalty in that overtime, and we didn't like that he took a penalty in that overtime. And then the Leafs killed that penalty in that overtime, and we went to the shootout. Nobody scored, and then Mitch Marner scored filthy, disgusting, nasty. And Ilya Samsonov just went, missed the net! And the Habs said, okay. And then they did, and then the Leafs won! Hooray plus L plus ratio questions. This isn't a question, but Auston Matthews versus Montreal, 26 goals in 32 games from Jonas Siegel. You mutant, I love you. Does 40-year-old Mark Giordano have the best frog splash in the league? Dude, that guy got heights. That was some Eddie Guerrero, Dominic Mysterio. I forgot the name of his kid, I'm sorry. Mostly sorry to Rhea Ripley, I'm sorry. He's so willing. I love it. Should we be worried about the defense? They won. Yeah. That was bad. Like, listen, the system stuff and the miscommunication stuff and like obviously like whiffing on the puck is not part of the plan and falling backward is not part of the plan. This team, as illustrated by this game, is still baby poop in front of their own net. And if Jake McCabe is getting pushed to his knees, I don't know how much hope the other guys have. I'm not totally sure about that third pair, despite their willingness to frog splash guys. I don't think that Brad Treliving is satisfied with it either. There was a rumor in the 32 Thoughts blog from Elliot Friedman that one of the potential ideas thrown out there for trading Sam Lafferty was to get defenseman Vinny Desharnais from the Edmonton Oilers in return. Oilers didn't want to do it. And also, I don't know if the Leafs could have afforded it. They want more snot back there. There's a reason why Simone Benoit didn't even have a good preseason, and he's up with the roster right now. He might get into games. That's why we got to see the Liljegren who made that great block at the end of overtime and not the guy who whiffs on the puck. He is dangerously close to becoming just a guy on this roster. This one made me laugh. Matthews is asked what he thought about getting a hat trick while, quote, not playing his best game tonight. He said, honestly, I don't know, Steve. I just want to say, for the record, I was not the guy who asked that. I believe it was Steve Simmons, whose name is also Steve. But I'm sure I'm going to be sent that clip 90 million times until the end of time. Also, what? He scored the game-tying goal twice? What do you two of those goals came in the final 5 minutes. What are you talking about? Of all the guys who had a tough game, I wouldn't say he had one of them. One quick thing about Fraser Minton. He made some mistakes in this game, but he also had some plays that I really liked. He almost scored a goal in this game. With a 19-year-old second-round pick who is still junior eligible, I think the Leafs, in very short order, have to make a decision to take the good with the bad. You have this guy, right? He's got a 9-game tryout with the team, and then you can send him back to junior. Technically, I think it's a 39-game tryout, and they can still send him back to junior, but you do burn a year of his entry-level deal, and you don't really want that. Worked out okay for Leon Draisaitl, though, so it doesn't necessarily ruin you. I think when you play a rookie in your lineup anywhere, let alone third-line center, you're not just giving him limited minutes on the fourth line, you're committing to a player who's got lots of upside, who's going to make a bunch of mistakes. I'm okay with that. Lastly, I wanted to read this from Cole. Hey, Steve, I know the odds of you seeing this is low, but my uncle just passed away, and me and him were huge fans of you, watched every one of your videos together, and this Leaf game meant so much to me, and the fact they got the win makes me so much happier. So just want to say thank you. Cole, buddy, I don't even know what to say to that. Thank you. Thank you so much, like from the bottom of my heart. And, you know, there's a reason why I don't miss a game. And it's stuff like that. And your uncle is with you wherever you are, buddy. I know that. I didn't say that because it's the LFR thing. I said it because it's the truth. And it is the truth that the Leafs got the big dub in their first game. Was it the prettiest? No. And they do ask how, but they also ask how many. The most important thing in the standings is how many. And they won this one, 81 to go. So for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe, please, if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. LFR Season 17 has begun.